He's known as Gurudev for millions of Indians, and at the moment where India is talking about G20 presidency and in the context of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, a lot of questions, a lot of information, a lot of excitement about India's role on the global stage. To talk about that, I have with me Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, spiritual guru, who is joining us live all the way from the United States. Thank you so much for joining us on this very, very important occasion. And in the backdrop of what we're talking about, you know, you've traveled the world, you've been in India, of course, as well. You've seen the country change. And of course, this entire concept or phrase of Amrit Kaal that the government talks about, do you believe that this is the best summation or description of the times that we are in at the moment? Sri Sri Ravi Shankar.
Absolutely, absolutely. After the Amrit Mahotsav, the Amrit Kaal is so uplifting. You know what our Prime Minister has given the call for the nation, for a developed nation, is what everyone is looking forward to. And all the signs are pointing out towards India becoming really a developed country. And I see Madhavdas.
Right, and also this call for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
I see Madhavdas behind you, the beautiful.
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. It's so, uplifting to see we have such a location where we can host the whole world. And we have always had this dream of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We have been talking about it from ages. And so here we see that G20 has come one step for the United Nations General Assembly also to come to India. See, we have a United Nations, it is there in US, in the American continent, it is there in the Europe, in Geneva. We need one in Asia, don't you think so?
Absolutely, absolutely. And perhaps this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam can bring that concept closer, because what is also very interesting is the fact that, you know, there's such a lot of push of Indian culture, Indian heritage. The very fact that Bharat Mandapam behind me is based on Anubhava Mandapa, in Karnataka, which was one of the hallmarks of, Basveshwara, who hails from Karnataka, is also something very significant, would you say?
Yes, yeah. It's a place of experience. Anubhava Mandapa is you just don't talk, but you have an immersive experience. And that's what it looks like.
Absolutely. And how do you think at this moment where we have, so many global leaders present on this stage of the G20, this being a very apt moment to showcase India's culture, showcase India's heritage to the world at large?
You know, our mind gets affected by the ambience. And if we created such a wonderful ambience, and the thoughts will be noble, and it will be for the betterment of the society, of the whole world as such. So for a global community to come to a place which has a very vibrant and harmonious atmosphere will only bring about more developed and development and justice to people all over the world.
Right. But there are those who would also, just to, give the other side of the argument, there are those who will say that can we only project one individual or one or one particular country as a force for good, because we also as a country have problems. There is Manipur, there are issues of inequality certainly, and those are issues which are also very important and need urgent attention here in India. So how do you see this?
Tell me, which country does not have issues? Problems. You think US doesn't have? You think China doesn't have? Russia doesn't have? All the G20 countries, they all have their issues. And if you just immerse yourself in the issues, and you can't even find solutions for it. Of course, we need to attend to that. But there are other things also we need to look into and find the common thing in which issues don't flare up. And we can bring people together. And there are world food security is an issue. The security in the whole world is an issue, and there is war somewhere else. Then we need to, come together as a world community. And this is absolutely essential. Of course, No issue can be ignored. No conflict can be ignored. Manipur need to be attended, but that in no way comes contrary to a global meeting of or thinking to resolve global issues.
Absolutely, and it's very interesting that you mentioned the Russia-Ukraine war. You have been someone who has advocated for peace, has called for an end to this war time and again. But there are those, the West in particular, who question India, who say that how can we be a Vishwaguru if we are not outrightly condemning the role of Russia, as a question that often, and you would have seen it, comes out from the side of the West. So how do you look at that aspect as well?
You know, a mediator has to be has to take his own stand. It cannot take sides, and to get the confidence of the both parties, only then someone can bring peace. And India is in the best place to do that because India hears the story from both sides. If you know, in any conflict, you hear one side, you will feel they are right. You feel the other side, you hear them, you feel they are right. And so one can bring these two parties, which have so much differences, on a table. And we believe in India, we believe that dialogue is the way. Our Prime Minister has once and again has emphasized. Our Prime Minister has again and again emphasized that war is not the language of this century. We have to move towards dialogue, and nothing can be resolved, by war and by conflict. It's only through dialogue we can resolve the issues and we can come together. This has been emphasized by our Prime Minister so many times. And if you take stands and sides, how can you even facilitate any dialogue?
Absolutely, absolutely. I would also like to draw your attention to, what is a raging political debate here in India. We've seen certain politicians and political parties, refer to Sanatan Dharma as a disease. They've even equated it to dengue, malaria, HIV, and what have you. And some even saying that it has to be eradicated. How do you view such comments vis-a-vis Sanatan Dharma? And do you see this as, perhaps comments of those who are not educated or informed enough about Sanatan Dharma?
I mean, I don't comment on the ignorant statements, but one thing I can say, Sanatan Dharma has undergone many reforms. Yeah, caste system is the only a little portion of Sanatan Dharma that has been reformed by people again and time and again, and it needs attention, no doubt. But don't throw the baby with the bathwater. There is a proverb that says that, you can't throw the baby with the bath water. So, this is what they do. Sanatan is Puratan and Nutan together. That is what becomes Sanatan. You cannot...
Right. And you have even tweeted saying that Sanatan can never be eradicated, that it is beyond time. What gives you the confidence about the resilience of Sanatan Dharma?
See, Sanatan Dharma is the most adaptable, and it's a way of life. And it's been followed in about 8 countries around the world in big population. Nearly 1/6 the world's population follows Sanatan Dharma. And saying such things will only hurt the sentiments of people. I don't think it's right. Yeah, you say the caste system must be eradicated. And this has been said by Adi Shankaracharya also. He also said, Jati Niti Kula Gotra Dhola. So, Lord Basavanna has talked about it. But saying the whole Sanatan Dharma, the Upanishads and the Vedic hymns and all this lower wealth and knowledge to be a disease is sheer ignorance. Yeah. See, even when you want to eradicate something,
right,
you actually study, know it. without knowing it, just saying something doesn't make any sense. I don't think we should, it is not even worth much comment.
Right. And there are those who are actually, seeking to draw a difference between Sanatan Dharma and Hinduism. Are the two different in your view? As a spiritual leader, if you can tell us what is your thoughts on this? Because there are some who say that one is a larger subset of the other. There are all sorts of explanations and arguments and counter-arguments in relation to what is a link between Sanatan Dharma and Hinduism that has come to the fore. How would you explain this?
See, it is all what you, the words, words are words, and it's what meaning you give to them makes all the difference. What you call as Hinduism, what you call Hindutva, what you call Sanatan Dharma. But generally, when you say Sanatan Dharma, it is the way of life which has been in practice for millions of years. And not just in India, it's in Nepal, it's in Sri Lanka, it's in Malaysia, it's in Fiji, it's in Suriname, so far away from India. In Suriname, large number of people in Guyana, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, all these countries practice. Fiji, for example. So I think we must be sensible and sensitive to people's feeling as well. Yeah.
Right, and that was my question actually. As a spiritual leader, as a humanitarian, how does one deal with the sort of intolerance and hatred that may arise from this kind of an ignorance? Because this is also a very pertinent question. Because as we know, hatred does breed hatred, and this is something that is very important to try and control.
Yes, I would do. My only request to all the politicians is please be sensitive and be sensible, and through your word, because your words have some power, do not create hatred among people. We have enough of it already. There is so much. And so my appeal to them all is be careful in what you say. If a slip of the tongue has happened, do not go to justify it. Just say, I'm sorry, and then move on. It's not worth creating hatred and animosity among different groups or people on our earth. Yes. Okay.
Sure, definitely. And also, if I may ask you, Article 1 of our Constitution refers to India, that is Bharat. Recently, when the President's House sent out invites, with the name of President of Bharat rather than President of India, it created a massive controversy, a massive furor. Do you think that this is really something that deserves a controversy, even given the fact that both the terms are used and are used interchangeably in many contexts here in India? How do you view this?
I think it's not worth getting into this. People, when they want to create controversy, they can create controversy on anything. Both are being used from many years and from ages. And people know Bharat is India and India is Bharat. Yeah. So I don't see. It's something
but
that
you feel it is a move that is long overdue, because many say that that is a better representation of the cultural and the heritage of India. The term Bharat, that is also one view that is being expressed.
In one sense, yes, because here, if you come to North America, the Indians are called the Native Americans. The Native Americans are called mostly Indian. There are Indian reserves in Canada, in US, in Mexico, all these countries. It could be a little bit confusing because Red Indians or South Asian Indians. So there is a little confusion that comes in the international arena. So sometimes we will have to shift from India to Bharat, no doubt. So that's our original name. That's the real name of India. And why not? When we have changed Bengaluru to Bengaluru and Madras to Chennai, all these names have been Kolkata to Kolkata. We have changed the names. And so changing name for India is, I don't see there is any issue, it's nothing wrong. In fact, that would,
Yes, and not just in India, there's a global precedent also of many countries changing their names. So it's not something that's unprecedented globally either, is the point of view that has been expressed.
correct, correct. Change of names does not, do any harm to us. In fact, it empowers our people and, it empowers our language, our traditions. Yeah, I think sometime we will have to come to that. Yes.
Absolutely. And if I can also ask you in relation to spirituality as a spiritual leader, you have said that spirituality is not self-centric, but seeing the self in everybody. How do you define spirituality, and tell us about the practices that can help one cultivate this kind of a vision?
You see, we are made up of both matter and spirit, right? Our body is made up of carbohydrate, amino acid, proteins, and other things. Our spirit is made up of compassion, integrity, love, honesty, and spirit of inquiry, intelligence, and communication skills. All this, anything that enhances our love, our compassion, our commitment, our knowledge. This is all spirituality. And spirituality unites people of all faiths and all sects, mats and matantar, mat and sampradayas, the traditions. Spirituality is the core value of religion, I would say. And in this sense, it is much needed today. The world is looking towards India for its spiritual nourishment. So like yoga, meditation, all this can give much needed calmness that we are looking for. Today, post-COVID, there is aggression on one side and depression on the other side. And to get away from both these diseases that are clogging the society, we need spirituality. And that's what India is offering to the world.
Absolutely. And in fact, many would say not just offering to the world, but many Indians also perhaps need to look inwards at this. Would you say in terms of your interactions and your travel within the country itself?
Yes, it is. When I say India also need to look in for itself, look to its roots. It has to nurture its roots. Though it's come from India, it's universal, and we need to honor what we give to others also. And India needs it very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one
yeah. And our Prime
one
Minister,
question also from the town that yes, please go ahead, please go ahead.
and our Honorable Prime Minister has, taken this issue very seriously on the world platform. So the International Yoga Day is such a big boost that so many countries, 180 countries have come to sign this declaration, and 1/3 of world's population today are practicing yoga and meditation. So that's, before people used to say we need to sanitize yoga. I mean, to take away all the Sanskrit or the roots that it had in India and make it only as an exercise. But that, that has been countered now. You don't need to sanitize yoga. Yeah, yoga sanitizes one's life, one's mind. Actually.
Absolutely. Very, very important words there, and perhaps important for all our viewers. And just one question that I'd like to ask you, because, of course, it is one thing that has put India in the spotlight, just a few weeks before the G20 meeting. And that is also something that is very significant in terms of the town where you're based from, that is Bengaluru, where ISRO is based. Chandrayaan-3 and India's soft landing on the south pole of the moon, making it the first country to arrive at the south pole safely, as well as becoming only the 4th country globally in terms of the fact that it of course makes every Indian proud, but the fact also that it shows India's progress and India's technical and technological prowess on the global stage.
Yes, in the field of technology, India is taking a lead. If you see even here in US, Almost all big technological companies, the CEOs are from Indian origin, and large number of people are working here. Even in NASA, there are a lot of Indian scientists who are working. And in India, in Bengaluru, it is so refreshing to see so many women who have participated in. I have visited
Right.
ISRO several times, and I have seen how the women folks here are they are meditating also. You know, the ISRO scientists many times visit our Bangalore Ashram also center. They are deeply interested in meditation. Here you have a perfect example of those who are interested in the outer space and the inner space as well. And they meditate, and also they are women who have other responsibilities
Very
at
beautifully
home
put. Yes.
and do that, and also are progressing in the field of space. And it's such an honor for every Indian to appreciate and recognize.
Absolutely. And in fact, if I could also ask you about the World Cultural Festival 2023, which is going to take place in the National Mall, Washington, D.C. How is this really going to showcase all that we've been talking about, whether it's Indian culture, whether it's Indian spiritualism, meditation, yoga? Can you take our viewers through that?
Yes, this is going to be an unprecedented event in US, where the same place where Martin Luther King 60 years ago, he gave a call for saying, I have a dream. In the same place, we are going to have this World Culture Festival from the Capitol Hill onward, all the way up to the Lincoln Memorial. And there'll be 70,000 artists who will be taking part in it. And there'll be 500,000 people who will be attending the program. And leaders from around the world will be coming and giving their inspirational speech. And it will be World Food Festival, music and meditation, all three together. Music from around the world, and we have food from around the world, and meditation that will unite everybody in the very theme of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And our former Secretary General of United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, has been the chair of the reception committee, and leaders from every walk of life, business leader and from politics, everyone will be part of this grand celebration. It will be from 29th of October to 29th of September to 1st of October.
All right. We wish you all the success with that in terms of showcasing India and Indian culture in the United States at the Washington, D.C. Mall. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and sharing with us your views on a host of issues, even as the global spotlight is on India and Indian culture vis-a-vis the G20. Thank you so much.